Pastor Luke, man of God. Pastor Luke, man of God. Man, the Bible, it is true. Pastor Luke, man of God.
The wilderness becomes important because it is here in the wilderness that God takes Egypt out of the children of Israel. Egypt is all they knew. They grew up in that for over 400 years of being there. God says, I got to put them in a place where I can take that out of them. And so it was in Egypt, it was in the wilderness, watch this, that God removed that Egyptian mindset from them. I'm talking to somebody this morning because you may be in a wilderness right now. And I don't want you to fret because God is just removing some stuff. Watch this. You can be in it so long you don't even know it's there. But God knows that it's there. It's stuff that you learned all your life, stuff that you picked up from your childhood, stuff that you picked up from your last relationship that you're bringing into this relationship. God says, I got to get you into a wilderness so I can detox you of some stuff. So he was trying to get them to the promised land because, hear me, saints of God, it was there in the promised land. It represents peace, it represents provision, and it represents purpose. I need you to write that down. It represents peace. It represents provision or prosperity, and it represents purpose. If you are not in peace, if you are not in a place of provision, and if you are not in a place where you know your purpose, you're still in process. If you keep living, you're going to have a storm in your life, a storm with your spouse, or a storm with your children, a storm in your health, a storm in your finances. Everybody is going to have a storm that they're going to have to go through, but you're going to have to learn how to endure the storm. If the enemy can get you to get out of the process because of a storm, if the enemy can get you to say, I'm going to stop reading my Bible and I'm going to stop trusting God because I had a storm in my life, then you intentionally step out of the process. But you're going to have to be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the word of God, and stand in your storm. Oh, how far along in the process you would be if you could let the past be the past. If you would stop resurrecting old stuff. If it's over, then let it be over. I can't get no help up in here. You keep bringing up stuff from the past. The enemy is directing your life with what happened in the past. Every time you try to move forward in the process, he'll remind you of what was. God is trying to bless you with what is, and you can't get your mind off of what was. You can't forgive people because you can't let go of the past. And God says you're stuck right here in the process because you will not let go of the past. I want you to prosper. I want you to be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Even as, if you think about a seesaw. You remember the old school when the kids used to get on the seesaw. Now, if the kids were the same weight, the seesaw would be even as. It would be even as. If one was heavier than the other, then it would lean. He's saying, I don't want you to be so prosperous in your flesh that your soul is no good. And I don't want you to be so spiritual in your soul that you look down on those that's still struggling in the flesh. Are you hearing what I'm saying? He says, listen, I want you to be able to grow in your soul, because if you can change the soul of a man, you can change the man. When they got to the promise, all of the stuff that God was doing for them, God help me in here, it stopped. All of the stuff, when they got to the promised land, everything stopped. Why did it stop, preacher? Well, when you are in the promise, you should need a miracle every week. No. I need you to apply some principles. There's some principles I gave you. If you apply these principles, I ain't got to keep coming up giving you a miracle every week. I put inside of you what you need to do. If I got to continue to provide for you this way, then you're not in the promise yet. I've placed you in the promise because everything that you need is in the promise, but there are some principles that you must apply. One of the most critical things that you have to understand is the process of knowing how to be blessed. When God gives you something, you have to work what God has given unto you. You cannot stand in the promise and expect a miracle. When you're standing in the promise, you can hold God to his word. You can say, God, I'm here because you brought me here. I'm standing in this place. I'm standing on your word. I'm doing what it is you told me to do. I'm doing it how you told me to do it. Now provide for me. Provide for my children. Touch my body. Heal my family. I'm doing it because I'm standing in your land of promise.
And the Bible, it is true. Pastor Luke, man of God. Man of God, Pastor Luke, man of God. And the Bible, it is Pastor Luke, man of God. Pastor Luke, man of God. Pastor Luke, man of God.